Hello everybody, and welcome back to Southern Fried Crime, the true crime channel with a country twist. If you're new here, please remember to like, subscribe, and click on the little bell icon to be notified when new videos post. In today's case, we're going to talk about sisterly love, or lack thereof. Sit back, buckle up, get yourself a little something to eat and drink, while I tell you about the Santerre sisters, Heather and Stephanie. Stephanie and Heather Santerre were sisters born to Carol Melvin and Gary Santerre. When Heather was 3 years old and Stephanie just 1, Carol and Gary decided it was time to part ways. Stephanie stayed with Carol and Heather bounced around from foster home to foster home. When Heather was 18, she ended up in a relationship with a young 21-year-old high school dropout named Paul Jones. At this time, Stephanie was a 16-year-old wild child, and her mom couldn't handle anymore, so she put Stephanie once again into foster care. Stephanie didn't like living in foster care, so she left the foster care system and moved in with her sister Heather, Paul the boyfriend, and Paul's mother. When Paul's mom was at work, the house became a party home. Heather and Paul weren't popular and had just a few friends, but they had a home to party in, so that made them popular with the ones that they were talking to. Patricia and her boyfriend Greg were among Stephanie and Paul's friends. The house was small, but it held a lot of people. The house gained 2 more people when Patricia got pregnant and she and Greg moved into the house. The kids all got along so well because they came from similar backgrounds. There was a lot of drama in the house between Stephanie, Heather, and Patricia because Stephanie was having a sexual relationship with both Paul and Greg. On Super Bowl Sunday, January the 18th, 1996, Stephanie was last seen. Everybody who lived in the house was questioned. Heather said that she and Stephanie got into an argument and that Stephanie had left the house. Not one person living in the house claimed to have seen Stephanie after that. On January the 30th, 1996, Heather was once again interviewed about her missing sister. She said that Stephanie had a boyfriend named Steve and that Stephanie had gone to a party at Steve's house. When Steve was questioned about Stephanie, he said he had not seen her since before she went missing. On February the 5th, 1996, Paul and Heather were brought in for questioning once again. Paul confessed that he and Greg had been having sexual relationships with Stephanie. On February the 6th, 1996, Patricia told her mom that she was pregnant. Then she told her mom that she knew what had happened to Stephanie. Patricia's mother told the police and directed them to Fort Hill Road. There was no body found at that location. On February the 10th, 1996, Patricia once again went to the police and told them another location they should search. This time Stephanie's body was found sitting against a tree. She was wearing socks, and the bottom half of her body was covered with black garbage bags. A bike chain was found around her neck, and the cause of death was found to be strangulation. Patricia was given immunity for her confession about what happened to Stephanie. She said that on January the 26th, 1996, Heather started talking about wanting to kill Stephanie. On the 28th of January, everybody living in the house, minus Stephanie, were sitting in the living room. Heather was once again talking about wanting to kill her sister. She looked over at Paul and told Paul that if he loved her, then he would kill Stephanie. Heather told Patricia and Greg to leave the house while she and Paul killed Stephanie. Patricia and Greg left the house, and Patricia thought it was a put-on and that when she and Greg got home, everybody would be sitting in the living room chilling. After Patricia and Greg left the house, Paul lured Stephanie upstairs for some kinky sex. He tied her hands to the bed and blindfolded her. Once she was in a position to where she was helpless, he took a bicycle chain and began to choke her. Stephanie was choked until she was unconscious. Heather stood by and watched as her sister was murdered. Paul said Stephanie was not dead yet. Heather handed Paul a pipe, which he used to twist the bike chain so tight that it snapped her neck. When Patricia and Greg got back to the house, they saw that Stephanie was indeed dead. Patricia and Greg were told by Paul that if they did not help discard the body, and if they told anybody about what happened, then he would kill both Patricia and Greg and their unborn baby. Heather, Paul, Patricia, and Greg all took Stephanie's dead body and dumped it. Later, after Stephanie was found and the autopsy was performed, she was found to be several months pregnant. The murderers didn't know that she was pregnant, and the police never determined who the father of the baby was. Paul was charged with murder, and Heather was charged with accessory to murder. Paul and Heather were both found guilty. Paul was sentenced to life without parole, and Heather was sentenced to 15 years in prison. Greg and Patricia were given immunity for their testimony against Paul and Heather. I really wish I could have found out more about Stephanie and her life. I could see myself a little bit in her and her life because of not having a stable home environment. I hope I did her a little bit of justice by telling her story. But that's all for today's case. Please remember to like and subscribe to Southern Fried Crime for more true crime content. That's all. Bye-bye for now.